Okay, well, hello and welcome to the Rugby preview of round three of Pro Day Dirt. Yes, like the top 14, we are doing it slightly differently. Normally, this would be a quick flick through on the podcast, but we're trying something new and hopefully giving you a little bit more of a preview with here on YouTube. And make sure you subscribe so that you find out about all of that exciting, amazing English language content about French rugby. But Pro Day Dirt, Richard. Round three already. We said after the first round that we were slightly worried it peaked too soon. We thought there might be a boring round. We then had a pretty wild round in round two. How do you see round three? Are we expecting six all draws all round?
To
What catches your
even
eye?
things out. A couple
Some
of
intriguing
three nils in
fixtures,
there.
to be fair, in that. Um, like it's kind of like your classic week of guys that have been struggling at home to guys that have
Yeah.
generally gone all right. Not least that first game, which is the FRUK game, Agen v Grenoble. Do you want to give me run through your predictions there?
Okay, let's have a look. I think I mean Agen came back from a bit of a horror first week and did really well. I think Grenoble early season will send a pretty good side and will win that. They've already gone away to Oyonnax, although I think it'll be close. I think the early kickoff or the slightly earlier kickoff on the Friday is Provence Biarritz. Don't think Provence will lose two on the spin at home.
No.
So we're going to go Provence. I think Nevers will be too strong for Carcassonne at home, as will Soyo against Dax. I think they'll still be, unfortunately, minus five at the end of that.
It's
Then
not
it
fun, is
does get
it?
a little bit more interesting. Oyonnax Colomiers. Colomiers started really well. You could argue to an extent, so of Oyonnax, if they hadn't fallen apart slightly in the last minute of games. I think Oyonnax will come through that in a tight one, is my prediction. Because I think that first game in particular, they showed signs, didn't they, against Grenoble. Aurillac Bezier, back the lack, always back the lack,
Yeah.
is our motto. So we go Aurillac. I think Brive will beat Valence. I don't think they'll be able to back up, and nor should there be any expectation for them to back up their amazing win away at Stade Maurice David, twice on the spin to Provence and Brive is a pretty tall ask. And then oh, Stade Montois, who I thought were going to be the surprise package, have had a pretty horrible start, losing at Colomiers, losing at home to Colomiers, and then getting hammered last week at Agen. I think Van look. I thought Van were going to win the league at the start of the season. I still think that. I think Van will win on the road there.
Excellent.
There we go.
I
Don't ask me to show my work in.
No, I mean I've got a different order to you, and I've looked at different sites, and they've all got a different order to what will be magically appearing on screen alongside us during this video. Hard to disagree on the Agen Grenoble thing. I think Grenoble were really good last season away from home. As you say, early on, they've looked pretty impressive early season. I think they will get the away win on Thursday night. Provence aren't going to lose at home, and they're not going to lose at home to on a spin, and they're definitely not going to lose at home to Biarritz. Because Biarritz are pretty shoddy away. Brive Valence, I think that's possibly the game of the round, isn't it? Really, with Brive kind of the draw at home against Van, the good win away at Dax, or any away wins good. Valence with that shock win after the Lourdes show, that could actually be points, I reckon, for Brive. I think it's going to be a high scoring game, that I reckon, and Brive might run in quite a few. Having said that, I think Oyana Colomier could also be a cracker. I wonder if
Yeah, it feels game of the round.
Colomier, because they've got a younger squad generally, I wonder if like when they go away, they won away at Mont-de-Marsan, though. I think Oyonnax has a different proposition to Mont-de-Marsan. I think when they go away, they might rotate a bit more heavily. And the fact they've got a young squad might make it pretty hard, especially going away somewhere with a physical side like Oyonnax. Oyonnax, I think, they can't get over the line, but I think they might get over the line in that one. Soyongalem, Dax dreadful away from home, and Soyongalem I think will go much stronger than they did last week. Am I going to be agreeing with you here? Back the lack, definitely back the lack against Bezier. Bezier, despite a positive result at home, they clearly, I think they might well be a team that is just home and away, up and down because they haven't quite got the depth. They've still got some real quality. They seem to turn it on at home. They just seem to be, they do genuinely seem to be a really good home team. In terms of like running in tries, Nevers, Carcassonne, Nevers should be too strong for Carcassonne. I think physically, Carcassonne might not be there yet in terms of getting up to speed with the physicality of the league. Nevers is a team that are more physical. I mean, the first game against who's their first win against? Agen, wasn't it? They like, yeah, their tries are really all either scored by hookers or wingers, which I know isn't that much of a rare phenomenon, but Effie Murphy scored a hat trick in the first. Is it Effie Murphy? I may have got that wrong. The hooker scored a hat trick in the first game at home. So like that just shows the kind of basis of their game, really. And I think Carcassonne, young squad, needing to kind of bring in the physicality and not all there yet. I think that could be a tough trip for Carcassonne. Stade Montois v Van. Don't know, Richard. I don't know. I think Mont-de-Marsan went quite weak away last week and lost. I wonder if they will have a stronger side and they'll be. This is the sort of one where like Mont-de-Marsan just pull it out of the bag, isn't it? Like last season, they'd be dreadful for like a couple of
Yeah,
weeks in a row, and then they just like whack a load of Fijians and Georgians in, and then suddenly, they're dominating people and playing like total rugby. I'm gonna go Mont-de-Marsan in that one, Richard. I'm doing it.
nice. Got
I
to have a
know.
bit of
We've got a
what's the
few
word? Disagreement.
Van followers that kind of are convinced that I hate Van, which is not the case. I actually think I've been really impressed with Van. I think having put them fourth early season for my predictions for the table, I think they just look so good physically, and I was really impressed with that performance away at Breathe in that first game. I think the way they overpowered Breathe for large parts of that game is pretty ominous. Mont-de-Marsan, long way. Let's do it. I'm going Mont-de-Marsan, Stade Montois. Hopefully,
Into the
Yashikashvili will be
ball ring.
playing and get Nangaya or Nakani Wangaya back in the centres. He played flanker the other day, hybrid. Um, yeah, having said that, it looks like an interesting round of kind of slightly weaker teams hosting stronger teams. Maybe it is actually. I mean, we've had to kind of shoehorn a way of not being exactly the same there again as we did with top 14. Maybe it is a bit more predictable this week. Don't know. Where there's like if you had to reverse one where there's just a random result completely out of the blue, because there will be one. There'll be one that's completely wild. Where is it?
Oh God, if I had to reverse one, I would go uh Blomier Oina.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to describe. I reckon Bezier, they'll just rock up and
Hmm.
they'll start playing some total rugby in the Cantal. There we go. But yeah, we'll put our predictions up on our other social media outlets. But follow us there. We are at rosbifsrugby and all of that. But make sure you're subscribed on this YouTube channel so you get all of our updates as well. But thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. And see you next week and see you on the podcast. Au
See you
revoir.
there. Au revoir.